How many times did you browse online and find a top that is cute but not in your size? Did you go to the mall only to find out that the styles available were not to your taste? Today's guest realized that this is a gap in the system and decided to do something about it. She came up with a concept of making fashion accessible and inclusive to everyone. With her expertise as a stylist in the industry, she founded her own company, A Curve Story. To know in depth about her journey and about her venture, I would like to welcome Akanksha Savanal. Hi, Akanksha, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good. How are you?
I'm good. I hope I pronounced your name right.
Yes, it was right. Most people don't get it right, so I was shocked. Yeah.
I saw the shock in your expression and I'm like, oh, maybe I mispronounced it.
No, it was right.
Okay, so did you always know that you wanted to be a stylist? What drew you to this industry?
No, actually, like I knew fashion was my calling very early, like around the age of 12.
Uh-huh.
I think it started with watching like my mom, my aunts, my grandma dress up.
Wow.
And we had like these local artisans come in from like Calcutta with these saris on like a Sunday morning.
Uh-huh.
And the play of colors, weaves, textures, it was really interesting to watch.
Uh-huh.
So that's, I think, my first acquaintance to like fashion, and that's kind of when I figured fashion would be something I'd take up. Styling, however, came by fluke. It was something I was kind of guided towards. It was never a part of my plan.
Okay.
I did a diploma
Uh-huh.
in fashion, which kind of shed light on multiple areas in fashion to kind of narrow down on what stream it would be that I would maybe pick up.
Okay.
And ended up like going and meeting a family friend who was in the industry to understand what the next step could be.
Mm-hmm.
And she sort of told me that styling would be like a great first step, because you get exposure into the industry and you can really network, and then maybe decide what you want to do there on. Also,
Right.
because I was just 18 when I started styling, so I was too naive. So I was in the space where, okay, any advice
Uh-huh.
that is productive should be taken in stride. So that's how, like, styling happened.
Right.
And I think 3 weeks in, I was working with one of the top stylists in Bollywood,
Wow.
and I had the amazing opportunity to work with talent like Ranveer, Priyanka, Pariniti, Ayushman, Arjun, Sonakshi, so many of these Gen Z actors, as well as a lot of work when it came to editorial, red carpets, and movie promotions. And I find myself extremely grateful to have landed that at such a young age, because I feel like that definitely gave me like an edge over, someone who would have probably started a little later.
Right. So
So
that's
yeah,
that's your
that's
story.
kind of where we are.
That's your story. So I also read somewhere that you have a business degree along with your diploma in fashion. So how did that help you decide to start A Curve Story?
So basically, I come from a very liberal Konkani family.
Right.
My family overall was very, very supportive when I said that fashion is something that I am moving towards.
Mm-hmm.
However, my parents were very clear, parents and my extended family actually were very clear that if you're still like dabbling with the idea, it's good to have like a business degree as backup.
Right.
Because, what if you change your mind midway? So I did my fashion diploma alongside a BCom,
Uh-huh.
both from Bombay.
Right.
And I always wanted to do an MBA. So I am actually pursuing an exec MBA right now as we speak. So,
Okay.
so it's been a handful of stuff. And I think I've mastered multitasking by now. That's something that styling definitely taught me.
Right.
So I'm really happy that it's kind of all working out.
I think it's masters of multitasking more than masters of my business management, but okay.
I agree.
So when did you start this, A Curve Story? And what is the story behind
uh,
it?
So basically, when I was styling, I had the
Uh-huh.
opportunity to go source from multiple stores
Yeah.
that spoke to a target group that came from different spending capacities.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was doing this, I started to notice like a major vacuum when it came to an approach towards inclusivity.
Right.
Whether it was a high-end brand or a brand that was just high street fashion, I felt like they were not doing justice to these segments which were entirely left isolated.
Right.
Like whether it's the pride community or it's like the curve segment, I felt like, there wasn't enough justice done in terms of the clothes available, the designs, or how much importance it was given when it came to visual content.
Yeah.
So that's like pretty much where the idea stemmed from. However, I think I started working on it about 4 years after I had it at the back of my head. So it was basically a time in 2016 where I was still styling, but I wasn't like creatively satisfied with what work I was putting out there. And I started questioning, what the next step for me could be. And suddenly one day, I don't know, this idea just came to me, and like I just started on like all my research, and I realized that, okay, like, this is a great market opportunity.
Right.
And given like everything I had learned in my styling days, I could really bring to the table something that changed how inclusive fashion was perceived.
Right.
So that's sort of where a curve story came from.
Okay. So what part do you do? Do you just design, or do you have everything from pattern cutting? What is your role in the story?
So since I am the founder, I'm kind of involved everywhere.
Right.
We do the whole gamut. So we actually create tech sheets or sketches. We then do like a survey of how this would fit on every body type. We then end up doing like a pattern cutting. We do a sample. We have that like reviewed. And then we go into full-blown production, which is again made on order for us because we're trying to like minimize waste and be fair to the environment.
Right.
So I'm basically, I think, involved from A to Z.
That always happens. Like if you are running a company, and at least in the initial phases, you are doing everything. And then later on, there are more people, and then you start trusting them with your baby. And then you're like, oh, okay, fine. Now I can just do the management part of it.
Yeah. No, I've been very fortunate to have like great team members.
Right.
But it's also about like initially setting that wavelength, right? So initially there will be a little bit of back and forth, and you will sort of understand where the other person is coming from, and you need to give that a little time to sort of build. But I think we're in a good place now. Like now it's more about like overseeing what they're doing while I do my other tasks.
Nice.
I think, yeah, it's a good place to be.
Yeah, I know. It takes a little time to be at that place, but I'm glad you have reached it. So, well, you also mentioned that there are a lot of segments in fashion, and I also have understood it from a lot of interaction from fashion designers. From what little I understand, there is fashion designing, there's pattern cutting, and there's styling. So, which segments are you trained in? And can you tell the listeners a little about the same?
So the diploma course that I ended up doing sort of had all these topics. So I knew basics of all of this, and styling, obviously I learned a lot more of on the job than in the course. I also went on to London College of Fashion and Central St. Martin's to then study a creative entrepreneurship, because I kind of then knew that I will be dabbling into business eventually, and a little bit of like the expert level styling. So my expertise is least in pattern making, if I may say. Because that was something that never interested me when I was in my course. I really liked seeing that happen, but I never enjoyed doing it myself. So for me, the journey of seeing a sketch become like a ready garment on the rack was like the best, journey to sort of witness. And that was sheer joy. So yeah, that's where we are.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for letting me know. So, well, I'm sure you must have done a lot of research before building your brand. So, what are the common problems you felt that people were facing?
So I researched before we launched a Curve Story for about close to 2 years. So I had like a very small team because my company is entirely bootstrapped. So I had to be smarter with the kind of team I was hiring to make sure that there was optimal use of resources and we were getting the work done that we needed to kind of launch, sometime in the future. So when we started our survey, we tried to like engage people from different backgrounds, different body types, and sort of understand that their shopping experience and what they felt when they shop.
Got it.
I feel like fashion or clothes is such an important tool when it comes to expressing who you are.
Yes.
That if you don't feel happy when you leave after you've purchased something, I think the brand is not doing something right.
Yeah.
So we did a lot of this research, like there were multiple rounds back and forth, and we realized there wasn't enough information to sort of research around. So like there were very few brands that were, first of all, catering to the segment. Then there were even lesser brands that were actually being liked by a customer.
Right.
People were unhappy with the design or the fit or one of those. And we wanted to like sort of bridge that gap and give a brand, give people a brand that they could actually feel like they belong with.
Right.
So, you know, like that's why it took us quite some time to like create designs, because I had to also bring in like my styling knowledge to ensure that the clothes did flatter the bodies of the people who would buy them. They would leave feeling happier and, you know, want to come back and shop from us again.
Right.
So I think it was a lot of work.
Right.
And that definitely like taught us a lot in terms of like setting a foundation for the brand, because that is something that, you know, we take on parts of even today when we are building like a new strategy.
Right. Okay. So you did mention that you have custom made clothes, right? To minimize wastage. So is there only option for custom made clothes, or do you have a particular design setup from which we can choose?
No, so how it basically works is we have a bunch of styles that we have on the website,
right?
And we customize that to the customer size.
Oh, right.
So we have a size range that is like a UK 8 to a UK 30. And as a brand, we're happy to customize if your size is outside this range as well.
Right.
But however, at this point, we're not looking at customizing designs outside of what we create, because that just ends up being a lot more need for bandwidth in terms of fabric or research on our end.
Got
so
it.
We have our own styles, and you can have them like customized to fit you best.
Got it. Understood. So, I mean, you know, I know that in one of your interviews, you have mentioned that clothes are meant to fit people and not the other way around. You know, it's so important. I resonate with this thought so much, because even I gained a lot of weight because of PCOD, and suddenly I was not a part of the cute clothes clan, as they mentioned. And it's so sad. And it was very nice and refreshing to see your brand and see something new and beautiful come up, because I've seen your reels and you come up with these cutesy designs which we can also wear, and it doesn't feel really weird anymore. Like, you know, we are shamed for wearing crop tops or anything different that like only skinny people can wear apparently. But then I was very happy to see your brand. So
thank you.
So a Curve Story also caters to fashion for the LGBTQIA community. And now, as I understand, that fashion is no longer black and white, you know, it's not even gray, it's fluid, it's multicolored, it's multifaceted, it's beautiful. So my question is, how do you design clothes for each and every persona, you know, when each person is still evolving in their fashion journey and have different tastes altogether?
So how we've kind of kept it as a brand is that we kind of try and design clothes that are in a sense gender fluid.
Right.
So if there is somebody who belongs to the LGBTQ community and associates to their feminine side more, or even resonates with our clothes, they are welcome to shop from us. We eventually also plan to move towards more masculine side, like the more masculine side of style.
Right.
However, right now we've kept it very fluid because we want to cater and master the art of one segment before we sort of venture out into the other side of, you know, the segment. We've had a lot of people who are from the Pride community who may have not come out to their families. So they request, you know, discreet packaging. And we've done all of that because we feel like I said, like, your clothes should be a tool to express yourself. And I don't think that a brand should be something, or clothes should be something that come in the way of your expression. So we've done that a lot for a couple of our clients. And we've also been fortunate to have, you know, received really good feedback from these people, because they do feel heard. Because again, there is such lack of representation when it comes to Pride, that it's sad that people feel like they don't belong, they're not heard. And that is something that, again, with our brand, we're trying to change and also do this and go beyond clothing.
Oh, I understand, because I have a few friends who are from the Pride community, and I mean, it takes a lot of time for you to accept also, right? That this is a part of society now. It's something new that is coming up. And trust me, their sense of style is so beautiful. I usually go out with them whenever I wish to try or experiment something new, and they always have beautiful inputs. So I'm really glad that you're doing something for them, and I'm really excited to share it with my friends as well. So yeah.
I actually, as a brand, like we worked with a lot of people from the Pride community for our campaigns as well. And if I'm being honest, they were the best models to have. They are so fluid and open to receiving like receiving your feedback or like open to change. And they're so fluid. Like I loved working with them. It's like working on a blank canvas, like you can just give them anything and then you can ask them, how do you think you'd wear this? And they'll come up with this super quirky ideas. And I'm just like, oh, wait, we didn't think of this. And, it's fun because it's like a two-way learning experience of sorts.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's really fun to be working with people who come from such diverse backgrounds,
Yeah, I think I'm sorry, I'm very bad with colors. So it was a magenta suit, if I'm not wrong. It's magenta, the one which is displayed.
Burgundy.
Burgundy, thanks. I thought so that the color was wrong, but that picture that you have taken of the model is so. I mean, it exudes confidence and there's style and there's beauty and there's that image it's going to stay in my heart. It is so beautiful. So I understand what you said that, they come up with their own quirky ideas. See, I told you the color is something that I would have mistaken, but otherwise I remember the image really well.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Okay, so you started your venture at such a young age. So what are the things that you feel you've learned from your experience, and what are the things you feel still need some fine tuning?
On a personal front, I think I learned that I can't do it all. I need to be okay with asking for help, allow help, and be okay with, getting inputs from other people who come from different walks of life.
Right.
Because that was something that, personally was like a challenge for me because I have been independent for very, very long. So asking for help is not something that comes easily to me, even in my personal life.
Yeah.
So with work, I really had to like let go and be okay with other people coming in, bringing in their expertise. And it's not about micromanaging, it's just about like, I can do it. Maybe I don't need somebody else to do it. It's never like, I don't think I micromanage as a boss either, but it was more like something I had to kind of break in my head.
Yeah.
So that was like something I learned on a personal front. And in terms of our brand, one thing that I would definitely stick by is that one thing that's done us great positives is that we have a unique voice as a brand. And I would always want to stick by that because that's what kind of sets us apart from the crowd. And that's definitely something that was my take home, like professionally, from the time I started. And it's also about maybe like, what happens is when you're young and you start a business, your work sort of entirely consumes your life. So, I mean, at most times it's a good thing. On some days you feel like, okay, it would be nice to like have a life outside. So maybe just working on that balance. I'm sure you relate to that as well.
I do. I know. I'm still trying to make time and make sure that I don't work on weekends, but it never happens. Like usually there is some crisis that comes up on the weekend. Like whenever I feel I need
a break, it'll come up on the day you decided
Exactly. Usi din aayega. So then I have stopped planning. Like I take a break when there's nothing to do, and then I'm like, oh, today there's nothing to do. Today's a break day. That's it. Saturday, Sundays doesn't work.
Yeah, last minute plans.
Last minute planning, yeah. So that's what works. So you spoke about delegating work. So I just wanted to ask you, can you tell a little about your team? How many people are there and how do they help you out?
Oh, yes. So our team is a total of 8 people at the moment. In the lockdown, I happened to move my branding and social media in-house as well, because of some like tough choices that we had to make when it came to how COVID had hit, this entire e-commerce segment. And I have a team that works entirely on social media strategy and content.
Right.
So I have 2 people who are delegated to that. I have 2 designers who work with me on all sorts of design or visual content fronts.
Right.
And entirely work with us when it comes to creating a bank of design, studying a little bit about our customers, whether it's like vendor acquisitions and partnerships.
Right.
I also have one person who's like the newest joinee in my team, who is entirely responsible for all this reel editing that you see, because that was getting a handful for us to do by ourselves. It was too hectic. So I figured like an extra hand would do good.
Right.
And the rest of it is my actual production staff, people who work round the clock to make these beautiful clothes that are on our grid and that people seem to be loving.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so you've got a team of 8 now. I hope it keeps growing and you become a bigger venture, and I mean, it reaches new heights. That's what I hope.
Honestly, like I feel like I've been very fortunate to have met people with such young minds and fresh perspective who are so in sync with the vision that we set this company out from, that they are just as committed to that level of change that we're looking at bringing about. So it's a huge blessing, because it makes my day-to-day like tasks so much easier, because they come from the same wavelength, and that's such a big plus when it comes to like when you hire people in a team. So I couldn't be more grateful for the team I have.
Yes, so thank you team for bringing a Curve story to life, and yes, please keep supporting, because I want to see more of her and more of her reels, at least, so that I can keep saving them and trying it out at home. So please keep doing that for me. So Akanksha, what message would you like to give people to encourage them to be more inclusive human beings?
I would say come from a space of no judgment. Just be open to receiving what the other person is, where they come from, what their thoughts are. You don't need to have an opinion on everything or everyone or anything for that matter. Just be okay with understanding that the person in front of you may be different, but they are just as normal as you. So, I mean, I think if we throw judgment out of the way, we'll be able to cure a big part of this isolated segment that has been created, So I think, like inclusive and also stop feeling like you can comment on people's body weight, their sexual orientation. Leave that out, because I don't think it's anything for us to do with. It's everybody's personal journey, and we just need to learn to maybe respect that.
Yeah, so true. And this is such a beautiful message. I'm so glad I asked this question. I'm glad the message that came through from you is, wow, beautiful. So coming to the final question, I asked this question to everybody who comes on the podcast because everybody asks you to settle down, beta settle kab hoge. And so my question for you is, what does the phrase being settled mean to you, beta?
Oh. For me, I think being settled would mean when I'm content with where my life is and where it's going.
Right.
I think it has nothing to do with the opinions of any second person but myself. And it's knowing that no matter what, I'll be okay, which I think is where I am at even now. So I think it's a journey. I don't think you ever get to a point where you're like settled and life abhi sort ho gayi. I don't think that happens. It's always a journey. And it's about enjoying every part of the journey, I think. So I'm enjoying where I'm at right now. So I'm pretty happy.
Oh, that's so sweet. So just enjoy where you are right now and be content, and well, life will figure itself out. So, well, thank you so much, Akanksha, for sharing your knowledge, sharing your journey, and just setting up such a beautiful brand for us, for making us part of a cute clothes clan, and in general, making everything so inclusive. So I hope you reach great heights, and I will definitely be praying and hoping a Curve story is well known by the entire nation.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That means a lot. And thank you so much for having me come here and share my story. And if I think by this conversation, we're able to motivate even one person to be more of themselves, I think we've done a good job.
Yes, I hope so too. So, well, I'll be adding all the links in the description. So if you want to get in touch with Akanksha, you can definitely do so. If you want to check out a Curve story, you can do that as well. And this is all from me this time. Thank you so much. Thank you, Akanksha.
Thank you.